Good afternoon, everyone. Today we will see a practical which is an introduction to prescription writing. So, I think it's a practical number 11 in your journal, and today we'll proceed with some important factors which need to be kept in mind while we are prescribing drugs to the patient and while we write a prescription in a proper format. So in today's practical we will see different aspects like what is the proper format in which we need to write the prescription, what all things are needed to be kept in mind while writing a prescription, and what errors can happen and what errors we can avoid while prescribing drugs. So today the exercises related to the prescription writing will be solved in the practical, and we will see a introduction to the prescription writing. So what is a prescription? A basic question may arise in your mind like what does prescription mean? So some may say it is a written order by a doctor, but to whom does the doctor order, whether to a patient or to pharmacist, or what is the importance of this prescription? It is just a document, or it has a legal importance that we will see in the practical. So what is prescription? It's a written order by a prescribing physician or a prescriber. Either it can be a physician, surgeon, or a dentist, or anyone who is a registered medical practitioner, and it is an order to the pharmacist. So in this the prescriber gives some orders or the advice to the pharmacist for dispensing the drugs and further giving instructions to the patient. So it is a necessary information regarding what, that is preparing and dispensing of medication that is being prescribed by the prescribing physician or any other practitioner, and according to the present need of the patient. So according to the need of patient, whatever the prescriber has prescribed or has given the advice, it is an advice given to the pharmacist, and accordingly the dispensing will take place. Now in a prescription, I think many of you have gone or visited any physician or any doctor in your lifetime, and then you might have a rough idea what the prescription looks like, or what are the contents of the prescription. There are certain components of the prescription which are always to be noted in the prescription, but there are other categories also in the prescription which you never notice, but you should now, being a doctor, now you are going to be a practicing physician or any registered medical practitioner. So certain things you need to keep in mind. So what important thing is there in the prescription? One is, some prescriptions have non-prescription drugs, that is OTC. What does OTC mean? That is over the counter drugs. So what does over the counter drug means? That the certain drugs which we take in our lifetime are without prescription also. That sometimes we visit the pharmacy or medical store and we ask for certain medicines, and the pharmacist will dispense it to us. He won't be having a hesitation to give such drugs to us, and such drugs are called the over the counter drugs. That is, they are taken many a times by people without having any prescription. But I would like to mention here one thing, that as in India we might be getting these OTC drugs, but there are other countries where the over the counter drugs are not allowed, because one important thing is that it can lead to misuse or overuse of the drugs, and secondly, the patient or the one who is taking may not be knowing the importance of the prescription for taking such type of drugs. So what are such type of drugs which we get nowadays in the pharmacy? We will get multivitamins or antacids and paracetamol like drugs. Many a times even I have observed that The antibiotics also in our country, some people take it over the counter, but it is very bad to get such drugs without prescription. And I would like to mention here why. Because now recently we have facing an important I can say important drawback of having the antibiotics and other drugs as dispensed without prescription, because there is emergence of antibiotic resistance. Secondly, why there is emergence of antibiotic resistance, you can say, firstly, the one who takes the medication, that is drugs like antibiotics or other drugs without prescription, they don't know the proper dose of the medication. They just might have heard it from their friends or relatives that for certain diseases they have taken certain kind of medications, but it is the drawback that they don't know the proper doses, how much to take. Then they don't know the frequency, how many times they need to take it in a day. Thirdly, they don't know the duration also. That is, they don't know for how long they have to take such medications. We have seen that antibiotics like drugs are to be taken either for 3 days, 5 days, or we need to we need to have the complete course of the antibiotics. But such people who are taking it without prescription don't know the proper duration for how long we need to take the drugs. So lastly, I can say that they don't know the diagnosis also for various conditions. Just having some symptoms, they will prefer to take the higher antibiotics or the only antibiotics which they know, or any other drugs which they know. So it will lead to some adverse effects also, and the important drawback, that is the emergence of resistance also. And so I think it should be banned in India, or it should be here it is the role of the pharmacist to avoid or to avoid dispensing of the drugs which strictly need the prescription for their dispensing. So now the first category we have seen, the non-prescription drugs or the over-the-counter drugs. So many a times people take the vitamins, antacids, paracetamols, or any other immunity boosters from the over the counter. Second category is the prescription drugs. Here it comes that such type of drugs are to be compulsorily taken with prescription of the prescribing physician, and such type of drugs include antibiotics or anxiolytics, antidepressants, antihypertensive drugs, where there can be dependence on the drug also, like if steroids are taken or antidepressants or anxiolytics are taken without prescription, then these drugs are about to or tend to cause the dependence also on such type of drugs. So and there can be serious adverse effects also by taking such type of drugs without prescription, or without diagnosing or without advice of the drug. So these are the drugs which are strictly to be taken with prescription of the physician or any prescribing or practicing doctor. So you need to keep in mind that there are many other categories in this type of drugs, that is prescription drug, which are to be avoided to be dispensed without prescription. So all of you, when you are in future, when you will be practicing, you need to keep in mind that the prescription for such drugs is always to be given. Now moving further to the other aspect of the prescription, that is nomenclature. It is drug nomenclature. That means how a drug is named. There are different brand name or the generic name for a particular drug. Now I'll tell you in detail what does it mean. So when you take a certain drug, any drug like paracetamol or any other drug, it has a chemical name of its own, that is the name which depends upon the chemical component of the drug. That is, what all are the chemical formulas or chemical contents in the drug. So depending on that, the drug will have the chemical name. Now secondly, there will be generic or non-proprietary name. Now what does generic mean? Generic is the name of the drug where the drug is prescribed or given by its non-brand name. That's why it's called a non-proprietary name. It will have the name and it will be universal. That is, suppose paracetamol is called paracetamol by, that is its generic name. Okay, and the third one is the proprietary name or the trade name, or which we can say brand name. So brand name, depending on the name only we can say brand name. The pharmaceutical company which manufactures the drug can give its own name to the drug. So it will be different for different manufacturing companies. So it will vary for different places and different companies also. So that's why here comes the role of generic name, where the name will be universal, and that's why it is told that to avoid the brand name in prescribing the drugs, so as to avoid the confusion. Okay, so now examples, different example we'll see where the three types of name a drug will carry. Like first one, acetyl salicylic acid is a chemical name for aspirin, and aspirin has a brand name like Ecosprin, or any other brand will have a different name. So the generic name here is the aspirin, and it will be universal everywhere. So it is advised to use the generic or non-proprietary name in prescribing different types of medicines. So suppose second example, we can say aminobenzyl penicillin. It is an chemical name for ampicillin, and biocillin is its brand name or proprietary name, and it can vary for different brands. So the proper advice here will be to use the generic name instead of the brand names. Now moving towards the prescription format, how a prescription is, what all are the components of the prescription. So there are different parts of prescription like superscription, inscription, subscription and transcription. These are the four parts in which we need to give a prescription to the patient. Okay. Now the first part is superscription. So what is superscription? It is a first or the topmost part of the prescription, which contains the doctor's name, then the qualification of the doctor, and then registration number, address, and very important is the date of the prescription. Then it also contains the name, age, gender and address of the patient. And thirdly, the sign, that is RX, abbreviation for the receipt, meaning take the. Now what is the importance of each of these components in which we call as superscription is I'll discuss in detail in the later slides, but you should keep in mind that superscription is the first part of the prescription, and it contains the doctor's detail, then the patient's detail and the RX symbol. And each of these components, like doctor's component will have the doctor's name, qualification or registration number and address and date. So each one has its own importance. Even the patient's component like gender, address, which we try to omit or we try to ignore, but are having very important role in the prescription. It also holds a legal importance in a prescription. So just keep in mind, superscription contains the doctor's detail, then the patient's details and the RX symbol. So the next part of the prescription is inscription. So what does inscription contain? So first part which we have seen is superscription. Now is inscription. So it is a part of prescription where we have the names of drugs, that is the drugs along with the diagnosis and what all are the drugs to be given to the patient. Amount of each ingredient will be present if the preparation is a pharmaceutical preparation, but there are the drugs which we dispense or which we prescribe are already manufactured by a company. So in such cases we don't need to put the amount of each ingredient, and we don't need to mention the ingredients also. We just mention the generic names of the drugs which we are prescribing, and along with that we will write the frequency of the drug to be taken, like whether it is to be taken once a day or twice a day, or along with frequency we need to write the dose, how much dose, like 25 grams or 50 grams or milligrams of whatever is the dose. Along with that the route of the drug, whether it is to be given orally, parenterally or intravenously. And these all things which I am telling you, like frequency, dose, dosage form, route, are very important, because the drugs which we prescribe are to be given in specific instructions only. Because each drug, if even for a drug like magnesium sulfate, even the route is changed, like whether if it is given orally, intramuscularly or intravenously, then the action of the drug will change. So for these reasons, and to avoid such errors in the prescription, and to avoid the serious adverse events which will take place by avoiding such instructions, we need to prescribe the medications in proper format and proper instructions also. Along with the frequency, dose, dosage form, routes, we also need to give the special instructions which are to be given to the patient if for a particular medicines, like whenever if we are prescribing tetracycline, so we need to mention to the patients, like avoid the use of the medication with milk or milk products, because it will cause a we can say that precipitation of the calcium, the components with milk. So such special instructions, like whether it is to be taken with food or empty stomach, or whether it is to be taken once a day in the night only at bedtime, or whatever special instructions, that are also to be mentioned in the inscription. And along with that the quantity of medications also, like suppose we are prescribing certain drug twice a day, and that too for 7 days, so it will be 7 into 2, that is 14. So 14 tablets or 14 doses of the medications to be given to the patient, and this is to be mentioned by us in the prescription, and that is in the part that is inscription. So all these important things you need to keep in mind whenever you are prescribing a medication, and all these instructions will come in part that is second part, inscription. So one more important thing here I would like to mention, as we have already discussed about the generic name and the brand name. So as there was a government circular, as per the government circular of Indian Health Ministry, it was recommended that the notification in 2016 which mentioned that the physicians should prescribe the drug with generic name, and that too in legible handwriting, and preferably if possible the generic name is to be written in capital letters, and he or she, that is the prescribing doctor, should ensure that it is a rational prescription and rational use of drugs. So as I have already discussed the importance of generic name, again I would like to mention that generic name will avoid the confusion for the dispensing by the pharmacist. Like suppose a brand name can be same or a bit can sound a bit same to different for two different type of drugs, and there can be a error from the side of pharmacist in interpreting the name of the drug. That's why to avoid, firstly to avoid the confusion by the dispensing pharmacist, and secondly the generic drugs have less cost, and that's why it will also reduce the cost of treatment, and it will be safer for the prescribing doctor than the pharmacist, and for the patient also, as the errors will be avoided in dispensing. So important part is to prescribe the medication by generic name if possible, that too in capital letters. Also, it is advised that generic name should be written if doctor wants to give a specific brand, then it should be mentioned in the bracket that do not substitute or do not dispense without change, dispense as written, because some brands or some drugs like phenytoin, where the change in brand may vary the bioavailability. So for such cases where you don't want to change the bioavailability of the drug, in such cases we need to write that do not substitute or dispense as written for the drugs where we need to write the brand names of the drug. In such cases we avoid the generic name, or along with generic name we can write the brand name of the drug and give the special instruction like do not substitute, or we can tell them that dispense as written. So this will avoid the change in brand of the drug. Now, in modern prescription, if different types of dosage forms are to be given, like if we are given in same prescription, if we are giving different medications, like some medications are given by injectable route, some are to be given by oral route, and others to be given by topical route, then all these drugs are to be written in a particular sequence and format when we are writing a prescription. So here I can tell you that suppose a person or a patient has to be prescribed injectable with oral preparation or topical preparation, then the sequence should be, firstly you should write the injectables in the sequence of medications prescribed, then you can write the oral preparations. So the oral preparations in that also we have three different types. Firstly you need to write capsule, then tablet, and then liquid oral preparations for prescribing, and then lastly you can give the topical preparation. This is just a standard prescribing format which you need to follow and which will help in avoiding errors and confusion. So these are the sequences like injectables, oral preparation and topical preparations which are to be kept in mind while prescribing multiple or different types of drugs in same prescription for the same patient. Just keep in mind the sequence. Now this was all about the second part of prescription, that is inscription. Firstly we have seen the superscription, then the second part was inscription. Now moving towards the third part of prescription, that is subscription. Now what does subscription contain? It contains the direction to the pharmacist, that is what all instructions are to be given by the doctor to the pharmacist. But one thing here I would like to mention is subscription is the instruction to the pharmacist which are written only in cases if the medication which we are giving is a pharmacy preparation, like any alkaline mixture or any ORS mixture, any other medication which is a pharmacy preparation. For such in such conditions only we give special instructions to the pharmacist. Like what are the instructions or directions to the pharmacist? We can tell that what is the mode of compounding, then what is the amount to be compounded, thirdly the form of final medicament, that is it will be a liquid or semi-solid, whereas it will be a solid preparation, that all, and division into doses if required. Like when there is a pharmacy preparation, there are no standard dosages mentioned or divided. So in such cases pharmacists need to advise the patient in how many divided doses and how much divided doses the patient needs to take the medication. So these all are the directions or the instructions which a prescriber gives to the pharmacist for the pharmacy preparations. Keep in mind. Now The last part of the prescription is the transcription. Transcription, what does it mean? It consists the direction to the patient. So what all it will contain? That is the method of administration, the dose, the time of administration of the drug, or any other special instructions which are to be given to the patient, along with the signature of the prescribing doctor and the registration number. So these all will be included in the transcription. Now moving towards the certain important abbreviations which we commonly come across while prescribing prescription, or when you might have noticed it in your prescriptions, that certain prescriptions will contain the abbreviations like OD, BID, TID, QID. So these are different abbreviations along with their English meaning, which you just can note it down. But here I would like to give a special advice that avoid using the abbreviation, though they are the standard accepted abbreviation, but it will be better to write like OD. Instead of that, it will be better to write once a day, twice a day, or thrice a day in a prescription, or before meals, after meals, or at bedtime. Then stat means immediately. So all such short forms or abbreviations, it will be better to avoid and write the full forms in your prescriptions. Now for prescription, what do you need to do and what are the things which you should avoid while prescribing a drug, being a prescriber? So firstly, as we have already discussed the importance of generic name, so you should use the generic name of the drug as far as possible, and in special cases where you need to give the brand name, you need to mention the instruction also. Do not substitute. Next condition is that use the standard abbreviations which I have already shown you. Other than that, avoid. Like for you may have seen certain prescriptions like PCM is written for paracetamol. So this is not a standard abbreviation, and writing such abbreviations will further increase the confusion and errors, and it will be a case where the pharmacist may not sometimes understand, and it will lead to severe adverse events also if not clear the confusion. So such type of abbreviations like short forms of drugs or any advice should be avoided. So use standard abbreviations if at all possible. Don't use the abbreviations at all. Nextly, type or write with non-erasable ink, and in that too in legible handwriting. Why we should write or type in non-erasable ink? Because if at all any mishap happens, or if there is any erasing of the written content of the prescription, it will lead to severe adverse or severe drawbacks of the prescription. Because suppose if there is a dose of a drug written 50 grams, and if the any of the unit of the dose is erased or by mistake or by knowingly also, then there will be delivering of a wrong dose to the patient, and there it will cause the worsening of the present medical condition, and or sometimes it may be not enough to cure the condition also. So for such cases we need to write or type with non-erasable ink and legible handwriting, but obviously it is very important to avoid the medication dispensing errors, confusion between different types of drugs because of illegible handwriting, and different doses or different brands also. So for such cases it is advised to use the non-erasable ink and legible handwriting. One more important aspect will be, it will be a legal document. Prescription holds a very important place. It is a legal document in case of any suit fined by the patient against the doctor. There, if there is an erasable ink, the changes can be made in prescription, and it will have an opposite action, or it will be a document which will stand against you in case of law or in court cases. So it will be for your safer side that use non-erasable ink. Next, the prescription. Signing the prescription is a very important thing. Mostly it is omitted and sometimes missed out also to sign the prescription. After signing the prescription, there will be no addition or deletion of the drugs by the person, either by the patient or any other layman also. So your signature has a legal importance in the prescription. Nextly, write clear instructions. Whatever you have to instruct the patient, write it clearly in the prescription, so that the patient will follow the instruction, or the instructions can be given by the reading the instruction. The pharmacist may also tell the patient about the special instruction, clear instruction which you need to give to the patient. And secondly, again, as I told, for the legal matter also, you can tell that you have already instructed in cases of any adverse event happens. Next is write complete information of the patient. Now, what information, patient information we have seen in the superscription, that is the name, age, gender and address of the patient and body weight of the patient. So these all complete information of the patient is to be compulsorily mentioned in the prescription. And why? That we will discuss in the exercises. What is the importance of each component of this patient information. Next is keep a copy of prescription if at all possible with you for the safer side. That is, in case of any misplace by the patient of the prescription. Secondly, if any legal matter is there. And thirdly, if for follow-up patients also, you can have an idea about the prescription. So for all these cases or conditions, you need to keep a copy of prescription with you. Now, what all things you should avoid is avoid the spelling mistakes. Very important. Spelling mistakes will be responsible for dispensing of wrong medication. Then avoid erasing or overwriting. Again, this will be important from the legal point of view. And secondly, for the dispensing mistakes also, that will occur if there is erasing or overwriting. Now, third thing is avoid unnecessary zeros and decimal points, because if such cases are there in the dose of the medication will immediately change, and it will cause an adverse effects on the patient. Third thing, as we discussed, is very important, is the avoid short forms. That is, short forms of the medications or instructions or any abbreviation. Try to avoid as far as possible. Next is avoid polypharmacy. Now, what is polypharmacy and why we should avoid, that we will see in the upcoming exercise. Next is complicated regimens. So the regimens which you give to the patient, it should be simplified and told to the patient, like when to take, how to take, how much to take, that all to be clearly mentioned. And lastly, irrational prescribing. So use rational prescription only. Irrational prescribing should be avoided when you write a prescription. So this was all about the different parts of prescription, what all it contains, and what is the importance of each part of prescription or each component of the prescription. So this is a prescription format, and this prescription is for the pharmacy preparation. Okay, which I have already told you, that is to be prepared by the pharmacist and dispensed by the pharmacist. Most of the times we get the medications which are already manufactured, like paracetamol or any other drug like ampicillin or amoxicillin. These are the tablets or medication which are already manufactured by the manufacturing company, and the pharmacy preparations are the ones which will be prepared by the pharmacist and then dispensed. So just have a look at the format. Suppose we are preparing a prescription for alkaline mixture. Now what all things we should note down? Firstly, for which place is the prescription, like Pravara Rural Hospital, Loni. Now first part which we have seen was the superscription. So it will contain the name of doctor, like Dr. ABC, then its qualification, MBBS or some, whatever it is, then registration number of the prescriber, then the address, whatever is the address of the clinic or hospital or OPD, that will be mentioned in address, and very important is the date. Why we need to mention the date? As it is a legal document, and secondly for follow-up also. Whenever a patient will come for follow-up, and in future also, whenever any legal matter is there, at that time also the date will be helpful for the prescriber. Nextly, this was all the doctor's detail, and it is a part that is superscription. It will also contain the patient details, like Mr. XYZ, whatever is the name of the patient, then age of the patient, then gender of the patient, and then address of the patient, and body weight of the patient. Body weight will be important for the pediatric population, and in the cases where the drugs are to be given on the basis of body weight. And third thing in the superscription was RX symbol. Now up till this was a superscription. Now next part is inscription, which will contain the drug details, components of the drugs and its quantity. So firstly we will see sodium bicarbonate 1 gram, simple syrup 2 ml, and water up to 30. These are all the components of the drug which are important in cases of pharmacy preparation. Next was the first was superscription, then inscription, and then subscription. So subscription will have the instructions to the pharmacist. Now what are the instructions to the pharmacist? That mix a mixture and send such 3 doses. That is, mix all these components, make a mixture, and then send such 3 doses to the patient. 1 dose to be taken 3 times a day. And last part of the prescription was transcription, which will contain the instruction to the patient along with the doctor's signature and registration number. So 1 dose to be taken 3 times a day was the instruction given to the patient by the prescriber, and lastly the doctor's signature along with the registration number. So these all are the important parts of the prescription, and you need not miss any of them. And there are standard prescribing formats also, like we have a MMC format, MMC prescription model, which is a standard format for our state, and according to that we need to write all the details and prescription in the prescribing format only. Now what all are the errors that will have place in the prescription writing? Like first thing, there can be error of omission. What all error of omission can occur? We can by mistake omit the name, age, gender or address of the patient, which we try to ignore or neglect many a times, but it is very important to mention them. Secondly, what all can be missed is name, qualification or registration number, address or and signature of the doctor. So these all are the things which we tend to miss out or omit by mistake, by knowingly or unknowingly. So try to avoid. Next will be misspelling of medicines, like 2 medicines which nearly sound alike, like terbinafine and terfenadine. So this can be there can be a misspelling and misreading also by the pharmacist also. So this is the medication prescribing error which need to be kept in mind by both the prescriber and the pharmacist, dispensing pharmacist. Thirdly, writing wrong medical abbreviation. As I have already mentioned that the abbreviation or the short forms of the medications or any other thing other than the standard accepted abbreviation should be avoided. Like diclo, it will be a short form for diclofenac, as we already know, but it should be avoided. It can be mistaken by the pharmacist for any other drug, and there will be dispensing error. So try to avoid the wrong medical abbreviation. Next is the illegible handwriting. So it has an important place, that is legible handwriting is very important for prescription writing to avoid various errors that will occur. Next is writing wrong. What all things can lead to error is writing wrong dosage form, writing wrong strength, whatever is the strength of the drug, like 50 gram or 50 microgram or 5 gram, whatever is there, it should be mentioned properly. Then unit, avoid writing wrong medication, like we have already seen that some the drugs which sound alike or which have near about same spellings. Then root of the drug should be mentioned very properly. Like by mistake you may write instead of tablet you may write an injectable or intramuscular form. So all such things should be avoided, as it will lead to writing error. Then writing wrong error. Next is drug-drug interaction. So this is very important point, where in cases of polypharmacy and in old patients or in patients with chronic diseases, where multiple number of drugs are mentioned at a time or prescribed at a time for the patient, and while prescribing such drugs we need to keep in mind the drug-drug interactions that may take place whenever multiple drugs are prescribed at the same time. And next is prescribing wrong medication. Okay, like for steroids in case of viral iridocyclitis, where that is, it will happen very rarely by this prescriber, because that much care is taken by the prescribing physician or doctor, because this will happen only in cases of wrong diagnosis or in cases where there is large number of patient load. So this error can be avoided by the prescriber. So next is patient's diagnosis not mentioned. So it is very important to mention the diagnosis of the patient, because the prescribing wrong medication and other errors can be avoided if you properly write the diagnosis of the patient. So this is the error which can happen by the prescriber side, and we should keep in mind that it should be avoided to miss out the diagnosis of the patient to be mentioned in the prescription. So these were the errors which can occur by knowingly or unknowingly by prescriber or the dispensing pharmacist, and it will have adverse effects on the patient's outcome also. So try to avoid such type of errors in prescription writing. Now moving towards the exercises, we will see one by one. So first exercise is question 1 is prescribe a tablet atenolol 50 milligrams for a 50-year-old adult. So they have given the name of tablet, age of the patient, then the gender of patient, and suffering from, that is diagnosis is given, and patient is to be given called for follow-up after 15 days. So these much details they have given, and we have to write a proper prescription in the proper prescribing format. So as we have already seen the prescribing format, that is superscription, inscription, subscription and transcription, and in all that we need to write the prescription for the above condition. So most of the times these doctor details are printed on the prescribing pad, but if they are not printed, you need to write the details like name of doctor XYZ, then qualification, registration number, address and contact detail and date. So these all are the doctor's detail which you need to mention for this prescription. Second is the patient details. So they have given us the age, that is 50 years, it was a male patient, then body weight we need to mention, address and phone number of the patient. Next is RX symbol. Now moving towards the inscription. So they have given us that the patient was prescribed atenolol 50 milligrams once a day, and that too for 15 days. So once a day, that means for 15 days we will require only 15 tablets. So for refill we will write that send such 15 tablets, and we need to advise the patient to follow up after 15 days, because this is the patient has mild hypertension and we have prescribed the medication only for 15 days. So after 15 days we need to ask the patient to follow up for evaluation and dose adjustment. And the special instruction like do not substitute will be given if we are prescribing by brand name, but this atenolol which we have prescribed is by generic name, so we don't give the instruction that do not substitute. Lastly, we have the doctor's signature and doctor's stamp with registration number. So in this format, please try to write the first exercise, that is a case of mild hypertension prescribed with atenolol 50 mg once a day. Write down in your journal exercise 1. Next, for further prescription, that is exercise 2 and 3, the same prescribing format will be needed, and only you need to write the medications after RX. That is, after writing doctor's detail, patient details, RX, you need to fill the medications which all are to be given. So what is exercise 2? Write a prescription for 25-year-old female patient. So age and gender is given, and the diagnosis is also given, that is fever, body ache and rhinitis, that is common cold. So after writing doctor's detail, patient details and RX symbol, write the medications. That is, first one is tablet paracetamol 500 mg 3 times a day. Second tablet which you need to be given is tablet cetirizine 10 mg once a day. Third is oxymetazoline hydrochloride nasal spray. These are the names of drugs along with the dosage form and route and the frequency and duration also. So the third medication is oxymetazoline hydrochloride nasal spray 5 mg per ml. So such 2 drops in each nostril, that too 3 times a day. Fourth is steam inhalation, and the instruction is follow up after 7 days. So, and in the end there will be doctor's signature along with doctor's stamp and registration number. This will complete the exercise 2, that is a prescription for 25 years female patient suffering from fever, body ache and rhinitis. Moving towards the exercise 3. Again, we need to have the proper prescription format. You all keep in mind that each prescription for exercise 2 and 3 which we are writing, you need to write in the standard prescription format, that it should contain all the parts of prescription, that is superscription, inscription, subscription and transcription. All the 4 components of the prescription should be there, and in part of inscription you need to write the name of drug and the conditions they have given. For that I have given you the medications. You need to write it after the RX symbol. So what all medications you will give for a 30-year male patient who has diagnosed with grand mal epilepsy. So first tablet you can give is tablet phenytoin sodium 100 mg, that too twice a day after food, and that is given to be for 15 days. Twice a day and for 15 days means he will require 30 tablets, that you need to mention. Okay, and maximum dose should not be more than 600 mg per day. So this is the medication for grand mal epilepsy. Or if that is not there with the pharmacist, or second you can write tablet carbamazepine 200 mg twice a day for 15 days. So you need to write the quantity of medication, that is 30 tablets, and the instruction at the end is follow up after 15 days for evaluation and dose adjustments if necessary, and complete the prescription by doctor's signature, registration number and stamp. So please keep in mind that you are writing a prescription in proper prescription format, and these are the medications for the given condition. Next is exercise 4. Write the importance of following components of prescription. So here I think less space is there in your journal. If you are not able to write in that space, you can stick pages in between, write on the page and stick that page in between the practical, so that you can write it properly. So first one, write the importance of following components of prescription. First is, what is the importance of qualification of doctor? We have already seen that in superscription we need to write the doctor's detail. Why it is important? That is, write down the answer in your journal. That is, prescriber's qualification and registration number is legally important. It has a legal importance, and it is to be safe from any illegal practice. Many a times different quacks are practicing without having any proper medical education. So to be safe from such people, we need to have mention the doctor's qualification and registration number. So write down, prescriber's qualification and registration number is legally important to mention to be safe from any illegal practice, and the lack of display of registration number may amount to a serious negligence on the part of doctor. So this was the answer for the first sub part of the exercise 4, that is importance of qualification of doctor. Next is what is the importance of address and contact number of doctor? So this will also have a very important space in the prescription, because it is essential and useful to know address and contact number of prescriber. Why? For dispensing pharmacist, when he needs to contact the prescriber in case of any clarification for the medication or the route or the doses or any in case of illegible handwriting. For such cases, if he needs any clarification in such there, the address and contact number of the doctor is very important. Next, why is important from the patient side? See, such contact details may be life saving if patient faces adverse drug events or any problem with ongoing treatment. Whatever treatment is going on, if he faces any problem, that is, the patient faces any problem, or if any further deterioration is there in the present condition, then he can contact the doctor. So such contact details may be life saving if patient faces adverse drug events or any problem with ongoing treatment, and also for contacting in cases of emergency if any worsening of current health condition is there. So it is important to mention the address, contact number of the doctor. Now third sub part of the exercise is name and address of the patient. What is the importance? So here, as we have already discussed in the practical, but again we will see that mentioning the patient's address and name would be helpful if we have to trace the patient in case of any prescribing or dispensing error occurs by the doctor or the pharmacist. So if they come to know afterwards, when the patient leaves their counter and they come to know that there was an error in dispensing or prescribing, they can contact the doctor. And here the copy which was kept with the doctor, that is prescription copy which was kept with the doctor, will be helpful to trace the patient. So you can see how the different components of prescription are important. Next subpart is the importance of gender, then age, body weight of the patient. So now, lack of patient demographic details in the prescription are always a foundation of potential to severe medication errors, because these details of gender, age and body weight are very important. So they can be a potential to severe medication errors like dispensing of medication to erroneous patient. Now, why age is important? Age of the patient is essential to be mentioned in the prescription, as it will help the selection of accurate dose. like pediatrics or geriatric population or adults, they need, or in cases of chronic medical conditions like liver diseases or kidney diseases, we need to modify and change the doses of the drug. So for such cases we need to have the age of the patient. This will help the selection of accurate dose of any drug to the patient, and it may also help in dispensing the right dosage form of the drug. Next is why gender is important. Mentioning gender would avoid error in prescribing, as certain drugs we know that are avoided in pregnancy, and also it holds a legal importance. Next is why body weight is important. That is important for calculating the doses of drugs in pediatric population, and also for the cases where the drugs are to be calculated depending upon the patient's weight, like in cancer patients or when the patient is very thin. In such cases we need to calculate depending upon the body weight of the patient. So it is also important to mention. Next subpart is generic name of the drug. So already we have discussed a lot on the generic name and its importance. So just write down that generic prescribing will reduce the cost of treatment, and also it will reduce the errors in dispensing the drugs. This will facilitate to diminish unethical marketing strategies that are to be taken up by some of the pharmaceutical industries. So for such cases, generic name of the drug is very important to be mentioned in the prescription. Next subpart is what is the importance of dosage form. We have all seen that the failure to mention it would pose a problem, as drugs are available in various strengths and dosage forms, and for certain drugs either change in the strength or dosage form will have a very serious effect on the patient, and this would affect the health and safety outcome of the patient. So very important to mention the dosage form. The last part of the exercise was what is the importance of refill or follow-up instruction. Now this is very important to keep in mind that too short or too prolonged treatment may lead to therapeutic failure. That is, if the treatment is very short, there will be therapeutic failure, or prolonged treatment will lead to toxicity. It is important to mention duration and quantity in refill for cases of drugs like steroids or narcotics or antibiotics, where there can be overuse or misuse of the drugs. Instructions to the patient is important, that is follow-up instructions. Important to write so that the rational drug utilization and compliance by the patient of correct dose schedule can be ensured. Also, when we refill, when the refill is advised, we should monitor for any new drug interactions or contraindication. That is, whenever the patient comes for refill, we can monitor the drug interactions or contraindications which were to be followed, and new side effects if any were there for the patient for the given medications. And lastly, physician should also consider the request for prescription refills received are earlier or later than the expected time, because this will give an idea for the poor adherence or inadequate therapy or any adverse events that occur for the patient. So all this will lead to avoid the errors and adverse events occurring to the patient. So refill and follow-up instructions are very important. The next exercise is enumerate the special instructions which are printed on various marketed drugs. So these I would like to advise, if other instructions which if you have come across during your lifespan, that any instructions which you have noted during the taking of any medication, you can add into the list also. So many a times special instructions like take with food or empty stomach, then avoid alcohol, external use only, like for topical preparations or any eye drops, then storage conditions like store in cool place, dry place, avoid out or keep out of reach of children, then keep in amber color bottle, keep out of reach of sunlight. then take with doctor's prescription only. All such special instructions along with the schedule of the drug, sometimes it is mentioned schedule H drug or schedule whatever the schedule of the drug is there, that is to be mentioned. Then take with caution or avoiding pregnant females. All such special instructions sometimes are printed on the marketed drugs. So you can add on to the list if you get some other than this. The last exercise is what is meant by polypharmacy and what are its disadvantages. So polypharmacy has some part we have discussed, that is it means prescribing multiple number of drugs. When it happens, I have told you the reason, like in cases of geriatric population, that when there are various types of comorbidities to the patient, or if a patient is suffering from chronic disease, then if a patient is with any other serious condition, for such patients there will be a chance of polypharmacies, and the reasons will be unavoidable. Like if geriatric population person is having multiple comorbidities like diabetes, hypertension, or any other kidney disease, liver disease, so we need to give multiple drugs at a time. And for such cases we should always keep in mind that polypharmacy can lead to various drug-drug interactions if not properly assessed. And why need to assess? Because different drugs when given at a time can have a drug-drug interaction, so we need to properly assess the drugs what we are giving. And lastly, polypharmacy will increase the cost of therapy also. So avoid using multiple drugs when not necessary. Like whenever a patient of common cold or very simple medical condition comes, you don't need to prescribe him multiple drugs at a time. Like giving multivitamins or all at a time will give rise to increase in therapy, cost of therapy, and even drug-drug interaction. So avoid polypharmacies whenever it is possible. So this was end of the practical number 11, and next practical, that is upcoming practical in next week, I will give you two different exercises regarding the prescription audit and essential drug list, which you need to do it, and I'll check it in the next practical. I'll give all the instructions related to these two exercises in the next upcoming practical. So this was all about the introduction to prescription writing and exercise related to this practical. Thank you.